भगवती भक्ति जननी जतने पालन करी शुद्ध भक्त चरण रेणु भजन अनुकूल माधवती भक्ति जननी जतने पालन करी कृष्ण वसती वसती बोली परम आदर करी। परम सौभाग्य।
Once again, it's a great fortune that the epitome of all the fasts and vratas, the one that pleases Shri Radha Shyam Sundar, the one that offers pure devotional service, such Ekadashi has begun in India. Today is Falgun Mas, Krishna Paksha, Vijaya Ekadashi Tithi. Though every Ekadashi has its own great glory attached to it, and every Ekadashi also has its unique significance and importance. Just as often I keep on telling you that the carrier of devotional service is humility, and the sons Gyan and Vairagya. But the origin of devotional service, the one that gives birth to devotional attitude, is Madhav Tithi Ekadashi. If we have taken a resolve that other than the bhajans or other than in the devotional service that we must ourselves engage in, we should develop love towards the Lord. When we have taken this resolve, then such devotional service which is created by this Madhav Ekadashi, we must abide by it. So you see, Upavas means to sit near and listen. So Ekadashi fasting means joining the company of the devotees of the Lord, to sit near to the Lord. You see, we all do engage ourselves every day in chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And upon this day of Ekadashi today, you see, we are engaging ourselves in chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra and also Bhagvatam. This is a great combination put together. I have huge desires, umpteen desires in my heart. And you see, one of my strong desire is that someday we must engage ourselves in discussing about Ekadashi. And today I've got that opportunity. So because it is Ekadashi today, and especially it is Vijaya Ekadashi, you see, dear devotees, today's Ekadashi has immense significance, and I want all my listeners to be the winners all the time. Because come what state you may be in, I would always wish that you should always be a winner. So it is Vijaya Ekadashi today, which offers us all victory. So the story goes something like this. It has been a mention in our Puranas that Vijaya Ekadashi has huge significance. So the story goes back to the Treta Yuga. Lord Ram, in all his moralities, like an ordinary man, is conducting and exhibiting the conduct of an ordinary man. If he desires, within the flip of a second, he can bring destruction to anything, but he was bound by his own conducts and morals, and he had been leading his life within those contours of morality. Now, it so happened that just on the day of his coronation, he was forced into exile for 14 years. So, along with Lord Ram, Devi Sita and Lakshmanji left for the woods. And as they traversed through various forests, they reached Panchavati. And now another incident was waiting for them. And what was that incident? That the king of Lanka, in the guise of a Brahmin, abducted Devi Sita. Now, Lord Ram was full of remorse. Srila Prabhupada have written this. Lord Ram had all the capacity to make crores of Sita ji appear, but he is lamenting over Sita Maya because he is Maryada Purushottam. He has to conduct his conduct absolutely with Maryada. A heart touching reference has been given by Goswami ji.
तुम देखी सीता मृगनैनी तुम देखी सीता मृगनैनी हे खग हे मृग
Oh, you bird, oh, you deer, have you spotted my Sita? Lord Ram was asking every branch, tree, plant, and even a rock and a stone. Lord Ram is inquiring all these creatures if they have been able to spot Sita, who is calm hearted, cool hearted, humble, and beautiful. Oh dear, her eyes were just like you. Did you see my Sita? This was the way in which Lord Ram was searching for Sita Maya. And then Lord Ram got to meet Jatayuji. And it was Jatayuji who divulged the fact that Lanka King Ravan had abducted Sita Maya. Now, as Lord Ram moved further at Kishkinda, he met Lord Hanuman and Sugrivji, and a bond of friendship was struck between Lord Ram and Sugrivji. And then Sugrivji sent his soldiers his vanars to search Sita Maya. Now everyone were attempting to locate and spot Sita Maya, and it was at this point of time that Sampati declared and told the soldiers of Sugrivji and Hanumanji that Sita Maya is in Lanka. And Lord Hanuman, in just one step from the coast of the ocean, reached Sri Lanka.
जिमियमो रघुपति करबाना एही भांति चले हूँ हनुमान। जैसे राम जी के सारंग से अमोघ बाण निकले,
just as from the sarang bow of Lord Ram, numerous arrows appear. Similarly, Lord Ram and Hanuman were able to take victory over Lanka. And now Hanumanji and Lord Ram reaches the coast of the ocean. At the coast of the ocean, Lord Ram realized that there is a very easy way of crossing the ocean, that by shooting the arrow, I can dry up the ocean and make all my soldiers cross the ocean. But Lord Ram is all merciful, and he thought, contemplated that if I would dry the ocean up, what would happen to the creatures of the ocean, to the marine life in the ocean? How can I sacrifice millions of life of the ocean just to search for Devi Sita? You see, these are the principles of Lord Ram, that for his selfish interests, he cannot take up the life of the oceanic creatures. You see, had you and me been there, certainly we would not take a second to sacrifice others for our own selfish interests. You see, some time back I was there at Surat, where there is this river called Tapte, and where there is a dam which has been constructed. Now, this dam obstructs the flow, and sometimes the flow is released at will of the humans. So I met this person, political person over there, where I urged him, requested him that you should not completely stop the flow of the water altogether, because it would cause the life of the river in life. You might decrease the amount of water, but it should not stop altogether. Now, Lord Ram was contemplating upon this, and he was trying to look forward for some other solution to make his armies cross over the ocean. Now, Lord Ram summoned Hanumanji, Sugrivji, Nal, Neel, Angad, and everyone. And he said, you see, I have no other way to bring a solution to cross the ocean. So I have learned this in my life, that just in case we in our perplexed state of mind, we should take guidance and counsel from sages and sadhus. And you see, Lord Ram is now illustrating for us that whenever we are in perplexed state of mind, we are in confused state of mind, we must take shelter and refuge at the lotus feet of sages and seers. Now, Lord Ram instructed Hanumanji and others to look for some sages and sadhus for counseling. Now, this story, all of you might have been aware of whatever we have said so far, but now what I'm going to share with you is something that is quite unique, and this relates to Ekadashi. the fact that all of you are in the habit of getting things illustrated with the help of mantras and shlokas. So there's a shloka before you at the bottom of your screens. Now, as Lord Ram instructed to look for sages and seers, you see, they came back to Lord Ram that, oh Ram, there is an ashram nearby whose name is Vagdalabhya. Vagdalabhya. His ashram, the ashram of Vagdalabhya Rishi, is quite nearby. So they all informed Lord Ram that there is the ashram of Vagdalabhya Rishi nearby and that counsel can be sought from him. So as Lord Ram got to know about the ashram of Vagdalabhya Rishi, Lord Ram, you see, went on to meet Vagdalabhya immediately. You see, this term, this name Raga, is the name given by Kaushalya Maya. Sita Maya calls Lord Ram as Karuna Nidan, and Vasishthaji gave the name Ram, but Mata Kaushalya used to call Lord Ram as Raghav. So Vyasji goes on to write Jagam Raghavam. So Raghav went on board to meet Vagdalabhya Rishi at his ashram. And why did he do that? So Lord Ram set a foot to meet Mahamuni Vagdalabhya.
तो राम जी केवल ऋषि को देखने जा रहे थे नहीं, उनको सुनने जा रहे थे.
So basically Lord Ram set his foot to go and meet Vagdalabhya Rishi and discuss with him, listen from him what is the way out to make the soldiers cross the ocean. As Lord Ram arrived at the ashram of Vagdalabhya, he offered his obeisances to Vagdalabhya Rishi. This has been mentioned in the second line of the shloka before you. And Lord Ram became a witness to astonishing Rishi, which is Vagdalabhya, as if this is just the next incarnation of Vishnuji. He is just a Vishnu who is sitting in this kutia. And with this thought, Lord Ram bowed his head, offered a Dandavat Pranam to Rishi Vagdalabhya. As Rishi Vagdalabhya accepted the obeisances and pranam offered by Lord Ram, it was at this point of time
समझ गए कि ततो रामम, ये तो राम है, पुराण पुरुषोत्तम.
that he is Lord Ram. The Purushottam, which is mentioned in Puranas, it is that Ram. And this Rishi was contemplating, how come such Purushottam, Ram, be in my ashram? See, the sage is after all a sage. So you see, many a times we are boasted with pride. We are inflated with pride when some saints appear or arrive at our houses. But you see, what is Rishi Vagdalabhya telling to himself that it is absolutely impossible that Lord Ram would come to me for something or the other. There is no logic to it. Lord Ram is after all Lord Ram. He does not need to come and walk up to my ashram. So there cannot be any objective for Lord Ram to arrive at my ashram. But still, Lord Ram has arrived at my ashram. So, very strongly, the purpose behind his arrival at my ashram is that he wants to set a learning for the material world, and that is why he has arrived here. So perhaps the teaching that he wants to get across to the mankind is that the mankind must take refuge and shelter at the lotus feet of a saint.
आगे कहते हैं उवाच स ऋषि तत्र राम जी को निवेदन करते हैं वगदालभ्य जी
Lord Ram offers his obeisances to Vagdalavya.
मैं तो समझ गया कि आप राम जी हो लेकिन हे राम जी
Rishi Vagdalavya addresses Lord Ram, "O Lord Ram, I have understood that your Lord Ram, would you please
हमारी कुटिया में क्यों आए
oblige me to explain to me how and what makes you come over here to my ashram?"
अहो विप्र
To this, Lord Ram replies,
हे विप्र हे
"O
मुनिवर
sage, O Munivar, O Sadhu,
आपकी कृपा लेने के लिए आया हूँ
I have come to your ashram to seek your blessings.
स्वयं भगवान रामचंद्र
Imagine
एक ऋषि
everyone takes refuge
आपकी
at the lotus feet
कृपा प्राप्त करने आपका प्रसाद
to take shelter. That Lord Ram is addressing a rishi,
और क्या
that he has arrived at the ashram of that rishi to seek his blessing. Now, what kind of blessings Lord Ram wants to seek from Rishi Vagdalavya? Then Lord Ram explains that I need to cross the ocean, and that is the reason I have come here to seek from you counseling. How can we cross that ocean? You see, all of us are supposed to cross the ocean. Lord Ram had to cross the ocean of Lanka, and we all are required to cross the Bhavsagar. So, the teaching, the learning that Lord Ram is attempting to establish over here is to cross that Bhavsagar, we all need to take refuge at the lotus feet of a rishi. Lord Ram further explains to Rishi that I have come with all my soldiers and army at the coast of Indian Ocean to attack to attack Lanka and be victorious over it. I have arrived here to attack Lanka and to kill all the demons of Lanka. This is what Lord Ram explains to Rishi Vagdalavya. Hence, O Rishi, if you may be pleased with me, if you may please bless me, may you kindly tell me, may you kindly explain to me how can I go ahead and cross the ocean with all my army and reach Lanka. O sage, kindly explain me the solution to cross the ocean. And this is when Rishi Vagdalavya replies to Lord Ram in the form of shloka, which is there at the bottom of your screens. So the Rishi replies further,
उसी बात को रिपीट करते हैं कि समुद्र को पार करने के लिए उसका उपाय प्राप्त करने के लिए मैं आपके पास आया हूं तब मुनि उवाच मुनि कहते हैं कथयिष्यामि अहम राम हे राम
O Lord Ram, says Rishi Vagdalavya,
पूर्ण करना है एक तो समुद्र पार करना है
you need to cross the ocean
और दूसरा राक्षसों के ऊपर विजय
and you need to kill the demons.
विजय प्राप्त करना है क्योंकि राम जी के पास तो बहुत कम राक्षस थे यहाँ तो हमारे अंदर ही राक्षस बैठे हैं काम क्रोध लोभ मोह मद
See, even Lord Ram had to cross the ocean, and we all also are supposed to cross the ocean, which is Bhavsagar. Lord Ram had to kill demons, and even we need to kill so many demons: lust, love, anger, etc. And you see, we all have to defeat Ravan just as Lord Ram had to defeat Ravan. So, for example, we have the disease called cancer. So, what is the cancer of the body? The cancer of the body is pride. So, as Lord Ram was seeking solution from the Rishi Vagdalavya replies, O Ram, I shall share with you a vrat, and if you would observe that vrat, then for sure, in the times to come, you shall be victorious. All the demons which create an obstruction before you, you shall emerge victorious. And not just this, you would reach Lanka for sure. You would be victorious. You shall kill all the demons, and for long times, your aura, your glory will stay alive. What? What I am now going to share with you now, must you listen to me with rapt attention, with a lot of concentration. Must you follow that vrat with whole heart and concentration. Now Lord Ram, with folded hands, requested Rishi to share that vrat with him. So now that vrat is being discussed by Rishi Vagdalavya in the form of the shloka which is there on the screens before you.
भवे तस्या व्रते कृते राम रामं च भविष्यति. हे राम, फाल्गुनस्या, फाल्गुन मास में,
Oh Lord Ram, in the month of Falgun, in the Sheet Paksh, there is a Ekadashi which is called as Vijaya Ekadashi. So if you shall observe the fast on this Vijaya Ekadashi, Ram, you shall be victorious in the times to come. So, Vijaya Ekadashi is mentioned in this way in Shastras and Puranas. And further, it is said in this regard, now you see, the fasting of Ekadashi was observed by Lord Ram, but the fruits of Ekadashi was reaped by all his soldiers. So what is the message that we must understand here? That from amongst the family, even if a single member observes the fast of Ekadashi, then the fruits of it shall be reaped by all the members of the family. So if a single person observes fasting on the day of Ekadashi, he is able to have deliverance for all the members of the family. So Rishi Vagdalavya says that if you shall observe this fast, not only you, but even all the members of your army shall be able to cross the ocean and be victorious. So, with all the rules and formulas, one must observe the day of Ekadashi, more and more chanting, in devotional service. If possible, one must engage in Nirjala Ekadashi or Safla Ekadashi. And if there is some health problem, then maybe with the help of fruits, one can observe Ekadashi. Finally, Rishi Bhaktalavya says, "Oh, the best of the kings, if you shall observe this Ekadashi, if this Ekadashi is observed by the mankind," and you see, this is applicable, this fasting of Ekadashi is applicable only on humankind, not animals. So Ekadashis are meant for humankind. So the Rishi goes on to say, if a man follows Ekadashi in the prescribed manner, then this person goes on to become victorious and achieves all success in this world, and goes on to get Vaikuntha Dham after this material world. Now, the same story was shared by Brahmaji to Naradji. So, in that regard, Brahmaji addresses Lord Narad in the form of the shloka before you on your screens. O Narad, it is because of Ekadashi fasting. It is the bounden duty of every mankind, every man, to follow and observe Vijaya Ekadashi. The fruits of Vijaya Ekadashi is such that it kills all the sins of a person. Now, further, if somebody listens to the story of the glory of Ekadashi or studies the glory of the fasting of Ekadashi, then such a person shall get the fruits of a Vajpayee Yagya. So, today is such a beautiful Vijaya Ekadashi, and Lord Ram, by observing such Vijaya Ekadashi, went on to cross the ocean with all his soldiers, killed the demons, killed Ravan, and emerged victorious. If we shall also observe this Ekadashi, then you see, we would be able to deliver ourselves and liberate ourselves from this material world and kill the demons of this material life. And we shall emerge victorious in this material world. And Thakur Bhaktivinod has very beautifully written about Ekadashi.
जतने पालन करी ये माधव तिथि, ये कृष्ण की तिथि है और इस तिथि को यत्न करके मेहनत करके
this Ekadashi is the tithi of Madhav, of Krishna, and one must toil hard to observe this Ekadashi. You see, I have this intense desire, which certainly I shall practice upon myself, that we must observe Nirjala Ekadashi, and we shall engage in the night awakening on Ekadashi. Almost we would make it a 8-9 hours program. Some devotee would engage in kirtan. You see, this is what I am planning. You see, if we would come together and do it, yes, we would get a lot of strength. You see, we have eaten a lot. Now, let us engage ourselves in complete Nirjala Ekadashi and engage in full night kirtan.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So आइए एकादशी के दिन भगवत कथा और कीर्तन की बड़ी महिमा है.
There is huge significance and glory of kirtan and Bhagvat Katha on the day of Ekadashi. So let us all get up and as we dance to the Kirtanam.
जय जय नवला किशोर, जय गोपी चित चोर प्रभो, जय जय माखन चोर, जय जय माखन चोर। श्री कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की। उपस्थित भगवत कथा अनुरागी,
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. I extend a grand and warm welcome to all the senior Vaishnavas of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. I also extend my gratitude and welcome to all the devotees who very regularly join us live on the Zoom platform, Facebook, and also YouTube. I welcome all of you to the third day Katha of 323rd Shrimad Bhagavatam Katha, organized by Agastya family from Bahrain and Chand family from New Zealand and Patel family in the loving memory of the departed souls of their family, Babu Ramchand, Shri Sukumar ji, Prabhu Bhai ji, and Dudi Ben, and also to get the love of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So I welcome from Bahrain and extend my gratitude to Dr. Hari Prabhu and Sudha Rani Mataji. From New Zealand, I welcome Umesh Chandji, Vinita Chandji, and their sons from Melbourne, Shanil and Shiny. So I welcome each one of you once again. Hare Krishna, Radhe Shyam.
और न्यूजीलैंड ऑकलैंड से हमारे उमेश चांद प्रभु, विनीता चांद माता, और इनके पुत्र मेलबोर्न से शानिल और पुत्र वधू शाइनी। आप सभी भक्तों का
So once again, I welcome each one of the devotees here. Hare Krishna.
एक बार हार्दिक स्वागत एवं आप सभी भक्तों के चरणों में हमारा प्रणाम। राधे श्याम। जब एकादशी की बात हुई,
So when we talked about Ekadashi, so a very beautiful question and query has come from a devotee, Suraj Soni, from the state of Chhattisgarh, India. You see, I feel so overwhelmed looking at youngsters coming and raising questions in Shrimad Bhagavatam Katha. You see, there was an understanding at some point of time that Shrimad Bhagavatam Kathas who are actually not engaged in any enterprise, they would come to Shrimad Bhagavatam Katha, retired people. But you see, the world is changing. I disagree that, you see, Kali Yuga's effect is strong. When I see such youngsters, I see, that the Bhagavad Katha is a, testimony to this, that such youngsters join us here. So the question is, what is the timing for Ekadashi Paran? How do we get to know that when is Paran and what can we have in Paran? If you were to ask me, I would attach more glory and significance to Ekadashi Paran than the observing of the fast of Ekadashi. So Ekadashi begins from the night of Dashmi Tithi. So from the midnight of Dashmi Tithi, Ekadashi starts, and on the day of Dwadashi, one has to engage in Paran on a particular time. And this particular time of Paran shall differ in each time zone. You see, in the age of internet, you can get to know exact timings. Or you can also visit any of our Ekadashi book center. You can visit any of our Iskcon centers and get that book where these timings are mentioned. And usually this is in the range of 1.5 hours where you must observe your Paran. Now, the question is, what can we have in Paran? You see, the best thing shall be that during your Paran on the day of Dwadashi, we must consume the rice of Jagannathji. So if you consume one rice of the Jagannath rice on the day of Dwadashi in Paran time. So just in case if you do not have access to the Jagannath rice, then what you can do is you can observe your Paran by consuming the prasad of the Lord, and it should be grain, and if it is nirchala, then you must offer water to the Lord and then consume it in Paran. Another question is from Vivek Kumarji from Saharsa, Bihar in India. His question is, should we perform Udhyapan of Ekadashi or should we continue to do it on without any gap?
एकादशी महीने में 2 बार होती है.
So there are 2 Ekadashis in a month and there are 24 Ekadashis in a year, and if we add Adhik Mas, Purushottam Mas, then it becomes 26 Ekadashis. So we must observe Ekadashi every fortnight in the month, and this should be done throughout the year. And a very interesting question comes from Banmali Ghosh from the state of West Bengal, India. And this is related to the katha that we are engaged in. So the question goes something like this. What is the difference between Krishna, Vishnu, Mahavishnu, and Shiva? Is it Krishna who made Vishnu, or is it Vishnu who created Krishna?
कि कृष्ण विष्णु महाविष्णु शिव और अन्य में क्या अंतर है? कृष्ण ने विष्णु को बनाया कि विष्णु ने कृष्ण को बनाया? घोष बाबू का प्रश्न अच्छा है, जेन्युइन है।
Manmali Ghosh ji has asked a very genuine question.
हमारे वहां भारत में क्या होता है, खिचड़ी चलती है, सभी रास्ते एक जगह जाते हैं।
You see, in India, we very often say that the destination is one to all the different routes. If I was to say, you see, will all the routes go to airport? The answer is no. You would miss your flight, isn't it? Because the different routes would go in different directions. But those who do not know the routes often say that all the routes have same destinations. The fact is, every route has a different position. Every route has its own capacity, and therefore, the results and the fruits reaped by traveling on that particular route is also totally different.
कि कृष्ण की क्या स्थिति, विष्णु की क्या स्थिति, महाविष्णु की क्या, शिव जी की क्या स्थिति है? अब इसके उत्तर में तो पूरी कथा हो सकती है, लेकिन हमें बहुत कुछ सुनना है। मैं संक्षिप्त में यदि घोष बाबू,
If I was to answer this question in brief, because we can have numerous kathas on this. The answer is Krishna is all powerful, all complete, and he is the supreme personality of Godhead. The root of everything is Sri Krishna. Sometimes in television and media, it might be displayed that Vishnu created Krishna, but the fact is, Shastras, Vedas, Puranas bear testimony to this fact that it is Lord Krishna who is God, who is supreme personality of Godhead. The first expansion of Sri Krishna is Balaram, and when Lord wanted to create the world, and he indicated Balramji, and then Balramji expanded in the form of Mahasankarshan. From Mahasankarshan came Mahavishnu. So Krishna, then Balramji, Sankarshan, and from Mahasankarshan it is Mahavishnu. From Mahavishnu, many universes were created from the skin pores. And in every universe, there would be 14 lok, and where there would be Brahma, and in every universe, there would be Garbho Dakshai Vishnu. And then to operate it, there would be Shiro Dakshai Vishnu. So this is how there are crores of universe. So because we are not engaging in the subject as of now, so when all these universes were created, so the question arose that all these are material world. You see, hard disk has to be resetted and deleted from time to time. So now, Lord Krishna, now Lord Krishna, from Lord Krishna,
ध्यान दीजिएगा, सदाशिव,
Sadashiv, and that Sadashiv stays in the spiritual world, which is Kailash Lok. Now you see, there are crores of universe, and then the pralaya or destruction has to be done in all the universe. And so from that Kailash, Shivji comes, and even Shivji are huge in number. And the story of Lord Shiva is found in many different ways. So, who is the base or initiating element of all Shiv? It is Sadashiv. And therefore, Sadashiv is, produced or emerges from Lord Krishna. And see, Lord Shiva never dies. Even Brahma would see the death. Even the universe would come to an end, but Sadashiv would never die. So that basic Sadashiv performs only one task, chanting the holy name and engages in kirtan of the Lord. Now, your next question is whether it was Vishnu who was created by Krishna or the other way around. So it is from Lord Krishna that the element of Vishnu is produced. Krishna is the basic element, and from there emerges Vishnu. So now, let us start the Katha of Shrimad Bhagvat, the 12th Jyotirling. So, it is the pious occasion of Shivratri, which is drawing very, very near. So, to please Lord Shiva, we are listening this Katha of Lord Shiva's 12th incarnation with the objective. After listening to this Katha, we will feel inspired and motivated to engage in devotional service. And secondly, listening to this Katha, if Lord Shiva gets pleased, he might offer us, he might bless us with Krishna Prem. In yesterday's Katha, and on the first day's Katha, we have understood Somnath Mahadev's Katha. And yesterday, we understood the story behind Mallika Arjun Jyotirling. Yesterday, somebody messaged me and asked a question that Lord Shiva and Devi Parvati went to Kronch Hill to please their son Kartikeya, but Kartikeya went further. But for the welfare of mankind, Lord Shiva and Devi Parvati stayed back in the form of Mallika Arjun, in the form of Mallikarjun Shivling at the Kronch Hill. So is it that Lord Shiva and Devi Parvati still attempts to please Kartikeya? And the answer is yes. On the day of full moon, Devi Parvati goes on to please Kartikeya, and on the no moon night, Lord Shiva goes to please Kumar Kartikeya. Let us now get into the story of Mahakaleshwar at Ujjain.
महाकालाभिदस्तात अवतार शङ्करस्य वे उज्जयिन्यां नगर्यां च बभूव स्वजनावना बभूव स्वजनावना. श्री सूत जी कहते हैं,
Shishu Goswami goes on to say, Mahakal Abhistat,
अभिस्तात महाकाल नाम से
by the name of Mahakal,
अवतार शंकर
the incarnation of Lord Shiva.
नाम का शंकर
So the incarnation of Lord Shiva by the name of Mahakal,
ये महाकाल अवतार मतलब हमारे लिए बहुत उत्तम है.
you see, this Mahakal incarnation is really very great for us because we all are bound by Kal, by time.
जिसका संबंध, जिसका रिलेशन काल
There is nobody in this world who does not have an association or relationship with time. So in this material world,
समय है.
it is time which controls this entire material world. We all are bound in a particular time frame.
कोई भी कार्य,
For example, be it katha or your life or your work, it is all surrounded by foundations of time.
स्वामी काल के भी
And
महाकाल की चर्चा.
who is the master of this time?
सो महाकाल नाम
It is Mahakal.
अवतार शंकरस्य वै.
So by the name of Mahakal, one of the incarnation of Lord Shiva happened at Ujjaini city.
के नगर में माने उज्जैन नगरी में महाकाल का ये अवतार हुआ. जैसे मैं कहते आए हैं, अवतार तो सबके लिए होता है, सब पर कृपा होती है, लेकिन इस अवतार के
You see, the incarnation
मूल कारण
is meant
बभूव स्वजनावनः.
to benefit almost everyone. But you see, every incarnation in itself would have a unique story. So why did Mahakal went on to take incarnation? What was the purpose? What was the reason? And the reason is to protect his own family. And who is the family of Lord Mahakal? Not Devi Parvati, Ganesh or Kartikeya. The answer is the family of Mahakal is a Vaishnav, right? For a Vaishnava, the family is Vaishnava only, and not the immediate biological family.
हरि नाम भक्त मारे सगाने संबंधी टूटी ग्रंथि छूटी मारी माया निबंधी आँख मारी उघड़े ત્યાં એ જી સીતારામ દેખું અને ધન્ય મારું જીવન કૃપાએ વિલેખું. નરસિંહ ધન્ય है. श्री नरसिंह मेहता की ये पंक्ति
Nrsimha Mehta has given this couplet, and that's so mesmerizing. Nrsimha Mehta says, my relatives, who are my relatives? Nrsimha Mehta goes on to say, the devotees of the Lord are my real devotees. They are my real relatives. So all the devotees who are sitting here in this katha are actually our real relatives.
चाय पी के ही जाना पड़ेगा आपको, क्या ये संबंधी है?
So you see, when you visit a relative, they say that must you have a tea, and they are opening the gates of hell for you, isn't it? So they say if you're coming in happy hours, you must take 1 or 2 pegs. But the fact is, it is all a gate to hell, isn't it? So it is actually the Vaishnavas who are our real relatives. in this material world, if without any selfish interest anyone performs any work, it is actually only two kind of people. Be it any relationship, father and the son, husband or the wife, the selfish interests does fall in line for sure. But in a selfless service manner, there are only two kinds of people who are there. This question was raised to Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva replies to this question. So these are the words of Lord Shiva.
कौन तुम तुम्हारा सेवक असुरारी हेतु रहित माने स्वार्थ रहित कार्य
Without any selfish motive, there are only two categories of people, or there are only two people who would do work without any selfish motive. It is God and the devotees of the God. Other than that, everyone else would engage into some work with some or the other selfish motive. Imagine, in the age of 70 years, usually a person would engage in resting, but in the age of 70, with 40 rupees, sitting in the cargo ship, Prabhupada left from India to reach America. What could have been his motive? There was no motive with respect to his personal need. It was only selfless service. In the history, we have huge examples of saints who have worked selflessly. And because they engage in selfless service and devotion, that is the reason only the devotees of Hari, the Vaishnavas, are the real relative of ours. So, the third incarnation of Lord Shiva happened in the form of Mahakal at Ujjaini with the objective to protect his relatives. So, who are relatives of Lord Shiva, Lord Mahakal? The devotees of Hari, the Vaishnavas. Actually, it is the Vaishnavas who actually help us for our welfare. I can recall Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu said that one must engage in Harinam and chanting. One washerman said that if I would take the name of the Lord and chanting, who shall do my work? To which Nityananda Prabhu said that you do the chanting and I shall perform your labor and work. So, to protect the devotees, Lord Shiva came in the form of Mahakal incarnation. Now, the question is, were the devotees in some pain? What was the problem that the devotees of Vaishnavas were undergoing? So, Sri Sud Goswami goes on to answer something in the form of the shloka before you, that there was a demon by the name of Dushan.
और ये दूषण नाम का असुर क्या करता था? वेद प्रमर्द
And this demon by the name of Dushan used to completely destroy the Vedas, used to destroy Dharma. And not only this, this demon by the name of Dushan once went on to reach the city of Ujjaini. So when this demon called Dushan reached at Ujjaini, he went on to have a cruel approach towards the Brahmins, very jealous approach towards Brahmins, jealous attitude towards Vaishnavas. You see, a very beautiful principle is getting enshrined over here that for once, if you will develop jealousy towards Lord, not a problem. But if you develop jealousy towards Vaishnavas and the devotees, it leads to complete destruction, sarvanashanam. If you will engage in jealousy and rivalry with a Vaishnava, then everything of yours shall be destroyed completely. Therefore, one must make an effort that come what may, you must not commit an offense for a sadhu and against a sage. I can recall Saurashtra king Raghuvar. So he wanted to gain knowledge and he left. He abandoned his home. So Raghuvar was like, who is the best sage? Who is the best orator? And he was told that there is Kapil Dev Rishi at Ganga Sagar. So he decided to go to Ganga Sagar. But you see, knowledge is sought in all humility. But because he was the king, so he went to the Rishi on a palanquin. Now, because one of the palanquin carrier was made to carry the palanquin, now Jarbharaji would attempt to ensure that no insect is killed, and because of the palanquin would be moving helter skelter. Now, you see, the king would beat Jarbharat with the hunter, and Jarbharat would say, and Jarbharat said that, O king, you need not need to mend me. Why are you uttering this word again that you would kill me? It is not us who needs to be mended, but it is actually you who needs to be mended. You are sitting in all comfort and yet you are actually getting bothered while we are carrying you from last 10 days and we are not bothered. So the problem is not outside, but the problem is within you. Then the king of Shabir, King Raghuvan, realized that this person cannot just be an ordinary person. He is such a wonderful, knowledgeable thing. Now the king requests to Jarbharat, oh dear, please tell me who you really are. The king said, I do not fear the Vajra of the king, neither I fear the weapon of Yamraj, neither the fire nor water can scare me. But this king, I myself am very fearful of a Vaishnava aparadh. Are you not a Vaishnava? Oh, if you are a Vaishnava, I have committed a very big offense. I must seek apology from you. Dear devotees, you see, even the kings of those times used to understand the offense against Brahmins or Vaishnavas. So in case you develop jealousy or bad thoughts about a Vaishnava, it leads to complete destruction.
ये दूषण नाम का असुर वेद और विप्रसूत ब्राह्मण वैष्णव के पुत्र का ध्याय तो मारने के लिए आया था, लेकिन हुंकारेणेव द्रुतम, लेकिन जैसे ही हाथ में खड़ग उठाकर उस ब्राह्मण को मारने जा रहा था, तब भगवान महादेव,
as he was about to kill a Brahmin with his sword, Just as Lord Narsimhadev appeared from the pillar, similarly, incarnation of Lord Shiva came in the form of Mahakal, ripping the land apart. And this time Lord Shiva did not have to do anything. Just from his Hunkar, the entire army and the team in Hunkar died instantly.
उस ब्राह्मण का अपराध उसे मारने के लिए वो जब गया तो हुंकार करके
So just as the demon Dushan went on to kill the Brahmin and his son, Lord Shiva appeared, and with his hunkar, the demon died instantly.
रत्नमाल नाम के देश में रत्नमाल पर्वत के ऊपर रहता था.
He used to stay at the top of Ratnamal hill, but he was killed by Lord Shiva.
तम हत्वा स महाकालो ज्योतिर्लिंग स्वरूपतः. फिर क्या हुआ?
So, what happened after that? After having killed that demon, all the demigods appeared in the skies, and the Brahmins, because of whom the Lord Shiva appeared in the form of Mahakal. So Mahakal asked Brahmin, "What would you seek from me?" The Brahmin replied that, "O Lord, when you have taken this incarnation at this place, please do not abandon this place." Therefore, Lord Shiva got to establish himself at the place of Ujjaini in the form of Mahakal. Now look at the last term of the shloka, Bhakti Paripalak. So Lord Shiva follows his devotees. He is very dear to his devotees. So Lord Shiva resides at Ujjaini in the form of Mahakal. So Lord Shiva established himself in the form of Mahakal, Shivlingam. If a person goes on to have darshans of this Mahakal, Shivling,
ठीक है, जहाँ भी है मारे दिशा भ्रम થઈ જાય છે એવું છે. तो महाकाल हयम लिंग, महाकाल नाम के लिंग को दृष्टवा.
So if anyone gets to have darshans of Shri Mahakal, and if somebody worships, and you see this is not easy, you have to take efforts, engage your efforts. So if somebody takes efforts to have darshans of Mahakal and offers puja to Mahakal Shivling, then two things happen. One is all the desires come true. That is the first fruit. And secondly, the second fruit that a person is blessed with ultimate liberation. So this is the glory of Lord Mahakal. So this has been mentioned in Puranas. Now, moving further, see, Lord Mahakal appeared in the city of Ujjaini, and for Ujjain, our Shastras have mentioned very beautiful description.
सप्तेते मोक्षदायिका सप्तेते मोक्षदायिका. चौथी लाइन पहले समझ लीजिए,
So
बोले
let us
सब
understand the last line first. Sapt tete.
तो ये 3 लाइनों में 7 चीज लिखी है।
So in the above 3 lines, 7 things are written, and all the 7 things
मोक्ष देने वाली है।
goes on to offer final liberation.
तो अयोध्यापुरी,
One is Ayodhya Puri, where Lord Ram was born. Mathura Puri, where Lord Krishna was born.
मोक्ष, ये मोक्षदायी का सबके
They all offer ultimate liberation.
मोक्षदायी का,
So
मथुरा
Ayodhya Mokshadaika, Mathura
है
Mokshadaika.
माया, तीसरी है माया
Maya,
माने हरिद्वार,
Mayapuri is Haridwar. That is also Mokshadaika, gives you final liberation. Kashi or Varanasi also gives ultimate liberation. Kanchi is also ultimate. Kanchi also offers ultimate liberation.
चर्चा करनी है।
And then comes Avantika, which we are supposed to talk about.
तीसरी लाइन में कहते हैं पूरी, पूरी माने जगन्नाथ,
Then in the next line they say Puri, Puri, which is Jagannath Puri.
सातवीं है द्वारिका,
And then Dwarakavati
अयोध्या, मथुरा,
is the next one.
काशी, कांची, अवंतिका, जगन्नाथपुरी और द्वारिका, ये सातों सप्त एते मोक्षदायी का, ये मुक्ति प्रदान करने वाली नगरी है।
They all offer final liberation.
सो भक्तों, यहाँ पर महाकालेश्वर महादेव
So, dear devotees, at this place called Ujjaini, the third incarnation in the form of Mahakal is at the city of Avantika.
को ही उज्जैन कहते हैं।
So, this Avantika in this shloka is actually Ujjaini. Now, there are many names to Avantika,
उज्जैन भी कहते हैं,
and it's also called as Ujjain
श्रृंगा भी कहते हैं,
or Kanik Shringa as well.
स्थली भी कहते हैं,
Krush Sthali also,
स्थली कहते हैं, अमरावती
which is offered also called as Amravati,
भी कहते हैं,
Mahakalpuram,
इसे मालवा, मालवा प्रदेश भी कहते हैं।
and it is also called as Malwa
तो इस प्रकार
Pradesh.
से अवंतिका नगरी, उज्जैन के बहुत सारे नाम है। उज्जैन की बड़ी महिमा है। सबसे पहले तो महाकाल जहां पर विराजते हैं,
You see, Ujjain has huge glory to it. So let us understand the glory of the place Ujjain where Lord Shiva resides. When Karunji was carrying the pitcher of nectar and he was going to flying to his stepmother Kadru, so he kept the pot of nectar at 4 places. So one of that place was Ujjain, and that is the reason where nectar drops fell, and which is why Kumbh is organized at Ujjain. Another glory of Ujjain is because of the blessings of Lord Vishnu, Shipra river flows in Ujjaini. The belief is if somebody takes a holy dip in Shipra and then goes on to have darshan of Mahakal, he gets the result of having darshans of 12 Jyotirling. So all the fruits of having darshans of 12 Jyotirling is achieved by a person, a devotee who takes holy dip in Shipra river and then has darshan of Mahakal. You see, Ujjaini used to be capital of great King Vikramaditya. So Avantika used to be the capital. Avantika, that is Ujjain, used to be the capital of King Vikramaditya. And once King Vikramaditya realized that it appears that Lord Shiva is actually residing in Ujjaini. So as King Vikramaditya had this realization, he made an announcement that even though I am the king of
देवाधिदेव महादेव है, और जो राजा होता है उसी को अपने राज्य में रहने का अधिकार है। फिर तो मैं क्या बताऊं, विक्रम आदित्य राज्य करने के लिए अवंतिका में आते थे।
The king Vikramaditya would often come to Ujjaini to administer and rule, but he would never sleep at Ujjain because Lord Mahakal alone can sleep as a king in in Ujjaini. So not just Vikramaditya, all the rulers after him also followed the same tradition of not sleeping in Ujjaini. For your knowledge, I want to share something with you. Who is the Lord of Kali? Bhagwan Jagannath. Indradumna was the king who asked Lord Jagannath to come, and Maharaj Indradumna was the king of Avantika, that is Ujjain. See, Ujjain is a very pious place. Many great personalities happen to appear here. Indradumna was the king of Ujjaini who actually got to have Lord Jagannath come at Jagannath Puri. So amongst the 12 Jyotirling, the one at Ujjaini is unique and special in itself. Because here, Lord Shiva faces the south. It is in the southern direction that Yamraj stays and resides. So Lord Shiva, who is Mahakal, is facing the south. All other Jyotirling you will never find faces the south. And another very beautiful thing that you must understand is this entire universe. So let's say Earth is at the center of the universe, and there are so many lok under the earth and over and above the earth, 14 lok. So the center of this entire universe in terms of an altitude, it is actually, then if we were to look at the center in terms of circumference, then what would be the center? So from top to bottom, if you shall see, the center of entire universe is Ujjain. And if you go on to see, in terms of circumference, the center of the universe is Ujjaini. And this has been scientifically proven also. You see, Lord Shiva did not come in the form of incarnation by scale and measuring everything, but try to understand this, the calculation. What is the distance between Ujjain to Somnath? It is 777 kilometers. And the distance between Ujjain to Omkareshwar is 111 kilometers. What is the distance between Ujjain to Bhima Shankar? It is 666 kilometers. From Ujjain to Kashi Vishwanath, distance is 999 kilometers. And from Ujjain to Mallikarjun, again 999 kilometers. Further, if you see, the distance between Ujjain to Kernath is 888 kilometers. Distance between Ujjain to Trimbakeshwar is 555 kilometers. Distance between Ujjain to Baijnath, 999 kilometers. From Ujjain to Rameshwaram, the distance is 1999 kilometers. The distance between Ujjain to Graneshwar is 555 kilometers. So Ujjain happens to be at the center of all other Jyotirlings. And hence, in this manner, our Vedas, Shastras, and the sages and the saints have considered Ujjain as the center of the universe. Other than this, there are many other things prevalent for Ujjaini. There used to be a king whose name was Raja Bhartuhari. And Bhartuhari went on to have unique Vairagya. He also used to be the king of Ujjaini. One more information. You see, there are many incarnations from Vishnu, Ram, and so many other incarnations of Vishnu. All these avatars, incarnations, were somehow or the other related to Ujjain.
किसी बहाने उज्जैन में अवश्य आया है.
So, in some way or the other, Lord did come to Ujjain for some or the other reason. For example, Lord Ram came to Ujjain and offered oblations to his Pitru at the bank of river Shipra. So every incarnation for some or the other reason did come to Ujjain. And the root of everything, Lord Krishna also happened to visit Ujjaini. Lord Krishna, when he left from Gokul to Mathura at the age of 11 and a half years, killed Kansa and got his parents liberated and freed. Then Devki and Vasudev thought that our son is 11 and a half years old and he is not yet educated. And Vasudevji was the king. So he was now contemplating that so far our sons have not studied even a single letter, so it is important that they must get educated. So you see, even the ordinary parents of material world would want to give best of education to their children, but here it is, Vasudevji who is the king, and then Lord is in Manusha Leela. So the parents naturally be worried about their education. So on the chariot of gold, Krishna and Balram left for Ujjaini at the ashram of Sandipani Rishi to seek education. It is at this ashram of Sandipani Rishi that Krishna received his education. So other than Mahakal, there are almost 25 Shiv temples in Ujjaini, and there is a Shiva temple at Sandipani Rishi Ashram. But the unique thing about Shivling at the ashram of Sandipani Rishi is that normally Nandi would often be sitting in Shiva temples, but in the ashram of Lord Shiva, Nandi is not in a sitting posture, but rather in a standing posture. The reason being, when Lord Krishna reached Ujjaini to seek education, Lord Shiva stood up and also asked Nandi to get up that our Lord has appeared in Ujjaini. So, indication from Lord Shiva, Nandi stood up. So, after the departure of Lord Krishna, Lord Shiva sat down, but Nandi still kept on standing. It is this city of Ujjaini that for the first time Sudama and Krishna met. Lord Krishna had already left from Mathura on the chariot of gold, and Sudama was traversing the route all by his feet, barefoot. So there were many stones and thorns which were bothering Sudamaji. And there was a big thorn that pierced the foot, the soul of Sudamaji. Now Krishna and Balram saw on their route that somebody is in trouble. Lord Krishna asked, "Oh dear friend, is there any problem that is troubling you?" Sudama said, "No, there is no problem as such. There is a thought."
कृष्ण कहते हैं, इस दुनिया में कोई एक बार मेरा नाम ले ले, अपने जीवा से कोई केवल मेरा नाम ले ले, उसके जन्म जन्म का कांटा निकल जाता है और मैं साक्षात तेरे सामने
the thorns of 7 birds, and I'm standing before you, and you're being bothered by this small thorn. So the thorn had gone too deep into the skin, of the soul. So now Lord Krishna took the feet of Sudama by his hands and from his mouth pulled the thorn back. Now Lord Krishna asked, "Oh dear friend, where are you moving to?" To which Sudama replied that he's going to Sandipini Rishi's ashram. And then Lord Krishna offered Sudamaji to board on his chariot, and that is how the friendship bond developed between Sudamaji and Lord Krishna. And very importantly, you see, this temple is the Lord of Lord Mahakal, but also Ujjain is the Sasural, the place of in-laws. The fifth beloved of Sri Krishna is Mitra Vrinda. Mitra Vrinda. So there used to be a king of Ujjain whose name was, whose wife was Rajati Devi. So the fifth queen of Sri Krishna is Mitra Vrinda. So Ujjain happens to be also the in-laws place of Lord Krishna. Perhaps Lord Krishna might have thought that on the excuse of having a wife and in-laws place, I would also be able to have darshans of Mahakal. So the Shastras go on to mention that there used to be a very learned Brahmin in the city of Ujjaini, and he used to perform yagna every day. He used to chant the Mahabharat mantra, engaged himself in the devotional service Lord Shiva. And you see, this city used to be a city in such a manner that a lot of Brahmins used to stay and they would engage in yagna and havans. And just near to Chennai, there was a hill where a demon called Dushan used to live. This demon Dushan, so this demon worshipped Lord Brahma and sought a boon from him that wherever I should go, I shall be victorious. So he sought to get lot of powers and boon from Brahmaji. Now he got engaged in a conflict with the demigods and defeated them, and now came to this hill of Ratnamal and he started staying over there. Now, as he was staying on this hill called Ratnamal, he was quite worried that what if I'm defeated someday? So, being bothered by the future, he asked somebody, just in case I'm engaged in a conflict with the demigods in the future, what should I do to ensure my victory? So, the demon was told that the power and strength of these demigods multiply because of yajna and havan being performed by humankind. If yagnas and havans can be stopped, these devtas, these demigods would not get any power. Now, as he got to know this, Dushan took all his army and he would attack every place where there would be some worship or ritual or devotional service would be going on. And in this manner, he reached Ujjaini, and as he enters the city of Ujjaini, he went on to locate the house, the first house in the city of Ujjaini, of that of a Brahmana where a Havan was going on. Now, this demon called Dushan, you should stop this Havan and Puja. The Brahmins denied that they would not relent. Now, this demon Dushan said, if you don't stop this yagna and havan, we would kill your entire family. The Brahmin said that come what may you do, but we shall not stop this ritual of yagna and havan. Till the time we are alive, we would keep on chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The demon said, because of your entire village is engaged in devotional service and you should stop this. And the Brahmin refused. Now Dushan took out the sword and he said that if you don't stop this havna and ritual, I shall behead you mercilessly.
ऐसे तो ये भागवत जी का श्लोक है, लेकिन तमापतंतिम आक्रमण करती हुई चमचम चमचम चमकती हुई ज्वलंतिम असी माने तलवार उस दूषण असुर ने खींच ली.
The demon Dushan pulled out his sword which was shining like light, and he was almost on the verge of attacking the Brahmin to kill him. So I want to get across the glory of this Brahmana who was having strong confidence in the Lord. He was contemplating and telling to himself that if I have been engaged in true devotional service towards Lord Shiva shall certainly protect me. So despite he was being attacked by strong shining sword by this demon, this Brahmana never moved.
और यहाँ तलवार दिखाकर कहते हैं काट दूंगा, बोले जो भी है मैं सेवा पूजा आराधना नहीं छोड़ूंगा. और जब तलवार चलाने गया तो न चचाल पदा नृपः, एक कदम भी पीछे नहीं हटा. ऐसी श्रद्धा अवश्य रक्षिबे कृष्ण विश्वास पालन. ऐसी श्रद्धा, ऐसा विश्वास जब शिव जी ने देखा कि मेरे भक्त में है.
Now, when Lord Shiva realized that this devotee has such huge confidence upon me, just as by an inch the gap was between his neck and the sword, Lord Shiva, through strong sound, went on to appear. Now this Brahmana asked, who you are? To which he replied, I am the Kal of the Kal. And Lord Shiva appeared. Now with the hunkar of Lord Shiva, the entire soldiers, the entire army of Dushan died instantly. So in this manner, through his hunkar, Lord Shiva killed all the demons and all the demigods appeared in the sky and started pleasing Lord Shiva through his prayers, through their prayers. Lord Shiva then addressed all the demigods and said, "O demigods, I am happy with you. Ask whatever you want to seek from me." All these demigods said, "O Lord, in the age of Kali Yuga, such demons shall not appear and they would start troubling us again. Now when you have appeared at this place, do not leave this place. Why, please stay at this place." The Brahmin said, this was the request of Brahmin, and Lord Shiva promised to the Brahmin that he would stay at this place to offer protection to his devotees, and I would be known as Mahakal. And within the radius of 1 kilometer of this temple, if anyone dies, come what may, sinner he is, because this place is all merciful. this person shall reach
उज्जैन में
Shivlok.
महाकालेश्वर इस तीसरे ज्योतिर्लिंग के रूप में प्रकट हुए।
So in this way, Lord Shiva appeared in the form of Mahakal at Ujjaini. So there's huge glory to have darshans of the Shiv and offering food, offering meals to Brahmins. And this person can always be sure of protection against Kal.
इस प्रकार से भगवान महाकाल का यहाँ पर प्राकट्य हुआ, वे हम पर कृपा करें, हम सब।
So in this manner, Mahakal appeared at Ujjaini, and we should pray to Mahakal to bless us. You see, Chanakya Pandit has said, even if we spend crores of gold coins, we cannot bring back a second back to life. So time is very important. So in case you want to save and make good use of your time, you must worship Lord Mahakal. Special thanks to the host family, Patel family, Chand family, Agastya family, Hari Prabhu, Sudha Rani Mataji, Umesh Chand Prabhu, Vinita Chand Mataji, their son and daughter-in-law Shanil and Sayani from Melbourne, who have organized this beautiful katha in the loving memory of their Pitrus, Babu Ramchand, Shri Sukumarji, Prabha, Prabhu Bhai, and also Dudhi Bain. So once again, I extend warm gratitude to the host family. Hare Krishna, Radhe Shyam.